with Sid the other night. You've gotten a chance to watch him, at the Prospects Challenge and here. Just what have you sort of seen from him over the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's going back there to just the rookie tournament, and I mean, he was finding a ton of different ways to impact the game there, and it was really. A lot of times too is like when the team really needed momentum swings, scoring big goals, big plays, and I think you go into training camp, it's obviously everything it elevates, and then you get into the exhibition games, and as the games continue on, the deeper into camp, those games they continue to elevate, and so I still think he's been able to find different ways. It's obviously it becomes a lot harder like once you're going out there against. Some of the lineups that, we've seen in exhibition or just NHL exhibition games in general. But he made a nice play there on the goal, on assisting on Sid's goal there the other night, a nice touch play. I think, he's a guy who's still, he's a younger player, and it's now for him, I think, getting these, anytime there's these game situations, it's for him an opportunity, to continue to work to apply those parts of his game, at this level. And so, it's I think it's an important part of his process. I think it's been solid, and we still got some more time left here in camp to continue to see it.
Do you find that guys of that ilk need to work or learn the defensive part of the game, or deal with the physicality of the NHL, like making plays on the wall and in their own end and things like that? The things that kind of the moment of truth when there's that getting the puck out, things like that.
Yeah, those are definitely. I mean, that's one of the things that I think definitely changes a lot. Time and space, it closes off a lot quicker. Once you get to this level, it's a lot different. And so it's not always just like, all right, can somebody do it? It's can they show the ability where they're able to adjust. And so a lot of times, I think when you move up levels and you go from for example, going from a rookie camp to an NHL training camp, and then from start of NHL training camp to NHL exhibition games, those are all the time and space is closing out quicker and quicker. And it's not just necessarily, all right, can somebody execute in those situations? It's when it doesn't work the first time, are they making adjustments? Are they trying different things? And so you're looking at both sides of it that way.
What's your plan goal for tonight?
Tristan's playing the whole game. Yeah, Larson's been in backup.
You're obviously coming here with a new slate and a new fresh perspective on how to evaluate the guys, but Tristan went through some very public struggles last season. How much have you weighed working with Andy and the incumbent management, the good and the bad, with Tristan during his time here in terms of evaluating his place in this organization? Your thoughts on him, I guess.
I think it's always important that background on, in this case you're talking about with Tristan, but I think with everybody, it's important to know that, it's good. It gives you perspective, but it's also a clean slate. It's a new opportunity for players here, and so on both sides of it, that goes with guys where maybe they didn't, necessarily like how their season went last year. It's the same thing with guys that, they really liked their season last year. It's a clean slate. And so, either way, I think it's always good to know where, guys are coming from. It's good to know a little bit the mindset. It's good to have perspective on what's happened on the past. But, at the end of the day, it's about moving forward.
Dan, what are your thoughts on defensemen playing on their offhand? Are you okay with it? Do you really prefer to have guys on their strong side?
There's definitely benefits to the strong side. There's some players that it's they make it look easy, which is honestly, it's way harder than it looks. It is. I shouldn't say it's way harder than it looks. It can be harder than it looks. Some players just they feel more comfortable though over there, or they feel just as comfortable. It's not everybody, and so some of that I think is you guys have it. It helps when guys have some time over there. They've had that in the past. I think more for them, there's a comfort level. And then other than that, I think it's just adjustments that have to be made. There's on the breakouts, especially the way they're collecting pucks on the wall. On the way they support pucks in the neutral zone too. There's angles, things change, and so it's a combination of, I think, just having that time to work on it and to get comfortable, or having that past experience where they've already know some of those little things and little parts of the detail. But in the offensive zone, there's also some benefits. There's some guys that I think can benefit there once you get onto the offensive half of the ice. on playing your offside.
If you had your druthers, would you want a left-right balance?
No, I just want 6 really good defensemen. It's whatever the best fit is. Honestly, it is. I feel like it's so. I wouldn't lock that in that it has to be that way. There's definitely it makes some parts of it a little bit more natural, but I've seen. There's instances of guys that can also be very impactful. They're playing their offside.
I believe this potentially Ben Kindle's 4th game of the preseason, which I think would lead the team. How much do you want to, just given his draft status and clear significance he has towards the organization, how much do you want to force feed him, NHL experience versus, bring him along slowly, not overwhelm him with too much while he gets used to the pro game?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of these decisions are also based on what we've been seeing and how he's played, and so I don't think we didn't come in here saying whatever it was when camp started, saying all right, we're gonna have he's gonna play in these 4 games. That wasn't the case. It's like you get a little bit of a starting point, and then as we go, it's you want to see guys in more situations. I think it's been good for him. If we didn't feel that way, then we wouldn't have him playing in this game.